Funda Wande has launched its expanded literacy video series. The series is a response in validating its approach to a critical national challenge. That's the shortage of practical teaching resources for African languages, a homegrown solution. The video series is enabling widespread lecturer-driven adoption across South Africa's education faculties, demonstrating the system's clear demand. Permie, head of content and training at Funda Wande, joins us now. Permie, a very good afternoon, or evening rather, to you, sorry. I'm so used to afternoons. Of course, it's been a very interesting Saturday for you. But I want to get to the crux of this. Of course, you are calling this practical teaching resources for African languages a critical national challenge. Now, when you consider that just recently we heard that more than 30,000 teachers resigned in South Africa's public schools, between 2020 and 2024. And not too long ago, we keep hearing of children in grades 4, for instance, not being able to read for meaning and understanding in all languages. I mean, certainly this exacerbates that problem that you have.
Yes, most certainly it does. And I think one of the things that we need to consider is the historical background of our education, where teachers are, especially in teaching African languages. So I think the solution that we're coming with and the appetite for it actually shows that people in the education system are serious about solving the problem of teaching reading in African languages.
So talk to us about this way of learning, and also how different it is from traditional learning.
Okay, so I'm going to also use my experience as a teacher. You get the theoretical part of teaching how learners learn to read, and then you get examples or the practical parts of it that are examples from the UK, from English, but very little of it is in African languages. And I think what we bring as Funda Wande to the table is saying, what does this look like when we bring exemplars to teachers or demonstrations to teachers using African languages in a relevant context and actually using the relevant languages that speak or that are relevant for their own experiences.
And I mean, how big a task is that? Because you are dealing with a completely different mode of teaching. And you also have to, at some point, I would imagine, rely on teachers too, to make sure that they assess what is being taught and also just take or hold the hand of a child or even the educator themselves.
Okay, so it's a very complex problem, and I'll tell you why I'm saying it's complex. Right now, the launch that we had was talking to 4 different stakeholders. So it's not just a teacher problem. Firstly, what we were dealing with, we were working with B.Ed lecturers who work in pre-service training. So they are now equipping our teachers who are about to go into the profession, right? The second bit is talking to us working with provincial officials who are in charge of teacher development. So what kind of teacher professional development is available to our teachers? So this is the content knowledge part of it, the knowing how to do things, right? And then we were talking to NGOs who are usually the people who come to assist with solving the crisis, right? And then the last bit, we were actually talking to lead teachers who are involved in working with teachers on the ground, because as we know, if we're just looking at what subject advisors can do by themselves, they will not be able to reach everybody. So again, it's looking at system-wide, who can we target to assist in solving this problem? Because like you say, everybody knows, we all talk about the 81% of learners who can't read for meaning. And so that can't just be a teacher problem only, it must be a system problem. And how do we then come into that space to speak with one language and to keep saying the same message and making sure that what we want to see happening in classrooms is a widespread thing and everybody is on the same page about how we solve the issue. So if we're just looking at teachers and hoping that they will come up with the solutions, Sissy, good luck.
It's a serious problem. It's a serious problem, and I think we see it almost always towards the end of the year when we tally from a grade 12 perspective, right? So I want to talk about just how you measure and sustain, this the initiative. How important is it for you then to involve the Department of Basic Education? I mean, it's a homegrown, as I understand it, solution. But there probably would be, because it's an initiative, right? It would be important for an endorsement of some sort from the Department of Basic Education, given the fact that you've got all of these role players that you've just mentioned.
So, I mean, I think the department has done a great job of making sure that there are assessment tools that are available for teachers at foundation phase level. Because again, we need to strengthen the foundation phase to be able to get to grade 12 results. Yeah. So what they've done is developed an EGRA, which is an assessment for foundation phase learners. And it is something that has been rolled out for all teachers in foundation phase by the DBE to make sure that consistently teachers are understanding where are my learners. But I think when you get where are my learners, the next step is what to do with them. And I think this is where we come in to say, okay, so if you're seeing your learners, because what typically happens is that you have learners in grade 2, but they're operating at such a varied abilities. Like grade 2, you have a grade R, you have a grade 1, you have a grade 2 child, you have a grade 3 ability in the same class. Wow. So now when the teacher gets from the assessment that this is the picture of where my learners are, the next thing is, then what do you do with that? Yeah. And I think that is where we come in with the implementation, with the strategies, and assisting and supporting what teachers are actually doing in the classroom to move the learners to the next level.
Very quickly, if any of those stakeholders that you've just mentioned now are listening to this interview, as we wrap up, lecturers, provincial officials, NGOs, teachers, what resources do you need urgently now as Funda Wande?
What resources? Well, I would think it's actually we have resources that we've developed to assist in the supporting of teachers in the classroom. So on our front, it's to say we have open source materials from our website, www.fundawande.org, which people can access. And that talks to learning materials like teacher guides, like learners' activity books, but also the videos that I specifically mentioned, together with online courses that we do, and they are for free. Basically, a person just has to sign up or communicate with us so that they can access those.
I would imagine awareness is key then in this front.
Most definitely.
But thank you so much, Permie, for your time. Really do appreciate it.
Sure.
Funda Wande launching its expanded literacy videos series, and of course speaking there to Permie Isaacs, who is a head of content and training at Funda Wande.